I didn't mean to make jokes tonight about the last thing, but I don't know. I understand. Y'all
That's good. You've been being proactive about it.
All right, we're ready. Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to the September meeting of the City of Russellville City Council. Nice to see everybody here tonight. We'll start our meeting with invocation by the Reverend Darrell Cobbs, retired pastor from St. John's Lutheran Church, and we'll follow that by a pledge of allegiance to the flag. If you would all please rise.
Let us pray. Father God and Creator of all, we thank you for your numerous and varied blessings to us. Thank you for the coming rain, also that refreshes the earth and all creatures. Keep us safe in the storm and watch with your mighty angels over all. Lord, tonight we pray for our mayor, for our city council, men and women, our judges, all who serve in a leadership capacity in this city. May they always keep our public trust as a solemn pledge and serve us all as models of honesty and prudence. O Lord, help them to protect all our people in the community from anything that might hurt or disgrace our citizens. Give them a desire to defend the rights and responsibilities of everyone. And please, Lord, guide them in every decision that comes before them, not only tonight, but in the months ahead. And so we pray all of these things through Jesus the Christ, who lives and rules this universe, along with the Father and the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated, please. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Brown?
Thank you. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Miss Harris? Here. Mr. Straight? Here. Mr. Sims?
Here.
Mr. Tripp?
Here.
Mr. Westcott?
Here.
Mr. Wiley?
Here.
Ms. Caruth? Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Council, in your package, you've got the minutes from our last month's worth of meetings. If there's no corrections or questions, be happy to entertain a motion to approve. Motion. Second. I believe it was motion, Mr. Wiley, second, Mr. Westcott. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Mr. McCoy, do you have a finance report for us?
Yes, I do, Council. The August 31st finance report. General fund revenues of $1,164,633. For August, that's a 9.58% above our projections. Tax receipts were $763,057. Franchise fees and permits of that were $169,422. Excuse me. What happened to my?
Sure you're on the right report?
Yes. All right, then tax comparison revenue, the city and county sales tax that we receive. In 2017, the city had $2,680,000 compared to $2,861,000 this year. From the county, we received $3,040,000 in 17. This year, we've received $3,262,000. That's an increase of $433,011, or a 7.61% increase in tax revenues. Compared to the budget for the city was $2,645,000. Our actual $2,861,000. The county budget we had $3,033,000. We've received $3,262,000. Expenditures, $1,201,000. For August was 3.25% above our projections. Year-to-date, we've received $679,399 more dollars. Street fund operations revenues were $141,875. For August, it's 4.51% below the projection. Sales tax receipts were $559,739. That's what funds your streets and drainages. And the road tax of $54,135 from the state. Street fund expenditures, operations was $168,543. It's 13.4% below our projections. Sales tax improvements, $561,818 for overlay and Glenwood and West E. We bought a trailer from Capital for $9,520. Economic development revenues were $46,352. $44,248 was the new sales tax. $2,104 was interest. Expenditures were $125,489. Balance of the various economic funds. The very first fund that was started in 2003, there's $1,465,000. Fund 2 of 2007, which was going when I started, has got $1,368,000. Our current economic fund has a balance of $438,226 at the end of August. Capital assets, our revenues are $128,031. $103,938 in new sales tax, $632 in interest, and received back $23,417 on the airport grant. Expenditures are $114,380 to City Corp, some interest that I transferred back, building fund, fire station, and the airport. Any questions?
Well, my report doesn't look like your report. Does anybody else have a report like you just read from?
I don't.
But I met with you right before the meeting. And I'm looking at the general fund R&E. On that one, I wrote down that we started the year with $1,700,000 from the rollover from last year.
Correct.
Correct? And to this month, we had revenues of $1,164,632.
Correct.
And month to date, this year, we've actually expended $1,280,438.
Some of that was the rollover that was spent out of there. We actually spent of the budget this year, we spent $8,837,930 year to date.
I'm looking at just this month. I'm not on year to date.
Okay, so month we spent $1,280,000.
And so year to date, I have $10,193,000 for the year. And my report shows we spent $10,202 for the year for a difference of a loss of $9,034.
That'd be correct looking into that, but you've got to remember that in the revenues, there's money put in there from the sale of some property that was not part of the budget, and there was money expended out of the expenditures that was not part of the money that was coming out of the rollover. The actual funds received for year-to-date is $9,517,329. The actual expenditures for the budget was $8,837,930, with $679,399 more receipted than expended.
But that's on the report you have that I don't have, right?
Yes.
Okay. We also met with you to discuss the fact that there's been a lot of, put my microphone over here, with, written in the newspaper, et cetera, and I think we know we've spent like $1.5 million or something that wasn't budgeted. Can you kind of tell the public exactly where that $1.5 million has come from?
Well, the rollover money that we have spent is, of course, out of what we had left over last year. And we have spent, let me just give you the actual number.
$700,000 out of 1-point-something million. That's what I have.
8, 14, 6,
1,007,056 was what was rolled over.
Yes, 1,070,056. We've spent $714,646 out of that rollover. 100,000 of that went into, or actually 200,000 went into capital, which 100 of it is for the building fund and 100,000 for the new fire trucks. 95,000 went to meet Boys and Girls Club in Main Street. 102,000 went to buy the fire trucks, fire vehicles we bought a couple of months ago. 76,800 went to buy police vehicles. 22,004 to buy a animal control vehicle. We had some audio and visual problems in here we had to replace, and we got some new equipment. That was 41,000. We had some network upgrades, 6,000. Spent 42,000 for the move of Public Works. We bought a lawnmower for the airport, 12,800. We funded the fireworks show, 8,500. So, then some of the money that I guess they're talking about would be what we're spending out of the street department on street projects, which that's a totally separate fund.
Okay, so right now, year to date, the $10,193,000, I'm gonna leave off the hundreds and cents, so 1,193,000. We would actually need to add another $1 million to that because of the rollover from last year, which is not counted, right?
Yes, if you wanted to look at it like that.
Okay, and then, so.
If we put that in there and then you use the exact number down at the bottom, same.
Okay, so we're up a little bit in more money than less, but not that $600,000 that you just talked about.
Well, let's see, 107, 1, let's see, 10,
Is that all you had?
we'd be up 93,000 and something.
One more thing, since the Aquatic Center's also made the newspaper again, and looking at the Aquatic Center, the Aquatic Center has receded, if I'm reading my report right, the one I have in my book, it says we've receded $218,000, and to date we have spent $335,000.
That's correct.
With several months yet to go. Can you give us any idea where you think that money will come from?
The expenses have
Well,
come from,
to fund, yeah, to continue to.
what we don't get from memberships or people paying will come out of the general fund, out of the sales tax.
And in that general fund, we have $1 million, we have that extra money, we have $1,061,000 in that?
Yes.
Okay. That answers my questions. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion to approve. Motion. There's a motion, Mr. Westcott.
Second.
Second, Mr. Wiley. All in favor of approving the finance report, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. We've got a full agenda. We've got quite a bit of finance items to cover. So for Mayor's report, I'll give a couple of quick updates. probably seen this stuff that was reported from in the news. The O Street project, we've indicated we would partner with Arkansas Tech and the Highway Department. Highway Department approved that. Still waiting on the official notice, should come. I talked to the district engineer today, and he figures we'll get the official notice probably next week, and indicated that the city's contribution is likely to be way, way, way reduced from what we thought it was going to be, which was already a pretty good deal. As soon as I hear something and can give you real data and facts, we'll talk about that. The construction manager contract, which is on the agenda later, Trey and the construction manager's attorney are working out the language on that. But they went ahead and had a meeting. The engineer had a meeting yesterday, brought in all of the utility partners, brought in our public works people. They're getting a good head start on that. That should move ahead really, really quick. So if it's, hopefully we'll have that contract in the next day or two, send it out to the council. We've had some discussion about maybe doing a special called meeting next week, but we'll give you guys a couple of days to look it over and get familiar with it, and then find a day next week that works for everybody. I think that's the big ones. The other one would be the Public Works move. They actually started operating out of there earlier this week. There's still some stuff to be moved. It's mostly equipment and whatever, but the crew's done really an above and beyond job to get that done. And we should be on schedule to make our deadline the end of the month to get out of there. So that's all that I've got. Don't have a department report for this month. That'll bring us to committee reports. Personnel Committee Chairman Harris, Chairperson Harris, do you have something for us?
I do. Is Tanessa present?
Yes.
If Tanessa would come up, I would like for her to present it actually, if she doesn't mind. Thank you.
You all should have a copy of the job description for the city engineer in your packets. The committee met previously, and that was approved by the Personnel Committee. So it's being presented to the council.
Would you brief the ones that weren't present on how the engineering description came to be? And Robert doesn't, Mr. Wiley here asked me to ask this question.
Okay.
But what kind of changes were made?
Okay.
I can say that it was actually an agreement, a job description that we already had on our books that you sort of modified a little bit. And it's perfect for the situation we're currently in my opinion. Go ahead.
Right. We had one that was already written, and what we did was we let Kenneth look at it, the Public Works Director, and he made some changes in it that he thought were pertinent and relevant. And so those changes were made, and then the job description was presented to the Personnel Committee.
And I think we would like to present that for adoption tonight. Did we agree on a salary yet, or is that going to come next after we agree?
That'll be the next
Okay,
step.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this description for the engineer for the city.
Second.
Okay. Council, you heard the committee's motion. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I have one question. Has the salary arrangement set from the Finance Committee on this position?
Has not.
Okay.
No, sir. That'll be the next step, and we'll do that really, really quick.
Waiting for the job description.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the committee's motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved, Madam Chair.
That's all we
Is
have.
that all you had? That will bring us to the Finance Committee. Chairman Brown, do you have any business for us?
Yes, sir, I've got full plate tonight. Due to issues last week and everything from the agenda prep meeting was all moved into the night, so we'll be covering all of it at one time. New business appropriation. Police Department. This is for boiler repair, $3,270. It's coming out of the capital funds. I put that to the council for a vote. And make a motion that, sir?
Okay. All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 1 is approved.
Item number 2, another appropriation. This is for $2,932.27. This is for medallion for the new fire station. This comes out of general funds. Put that in form of motion to the council for approval.
Okay. Council, you heard the motion, but before we do, Kelly Young Franklin, you signed up to speak for items 1 through 23. Are these the items you wanted to speak on? Okay, what do you have to tell us? We'll have to back up. What do you have to tell us on appropriation 1? Yes, please, and state your name for the record.
My name is Kelly Young Franklin, and I'm here today to represent not only myself, but also other quieted voices within the city.
Okay.
While I know
Hold on.
zoning issues, vacating
Ms. Young
empty
Franklin,
lots, and
Ms. Young
issuing
Franklin,
permits.
Ms. Young Franklin, we covered this. Our rules of procedure, which are adopted by ordinance, that means they are a law. They allow you to speak to an item on the agenda. Is there something you have to say about an appropriation from the Building and R&M Fund for the Police Department?
As a first-generation Russellville High School graduate, in addition to being
I
a
take it-
first-generation
I take it your answer is
ATU
no.
grad, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a
Ma'am,
voter, and
let me explain.
that I ask to be allowed to speak to you tonight.
Ms. Young Franklin, let me try to explain again. First off, we have no disciplinary jurisdiction over district court whatsoever. This is not the proper venue for your complaint. There is a venue where you can have your grievance heard. Our rules of procedure, you're not speaking to an item on the agenda.
I am speaking to all the items on the agenda, sir.
Ma'am, in
While
all due respect, what
While
you're
I know
saying,
zoning issues, vacating empty lots, and issuing permits are serious business for the council, I urge you all to consider that the city government is supposed to be up for us and by us. By that I mean we elect you to do the city's business with our interest in mind. So while drainage improvements are important issues for the council, they do not get to the heart of what is most important in the city, and that is the people who live here, who
Ma'am,
work here,
the
and who
item
raise our families here.
the item
It is
the
my
item we're
belief
speaking about is building
that
R&M.
a citizen cannot receive a fair trial in the district court
Okay.
of Russellville.
Point of order.
Of Judge Don Moore.
Point of order, Ms. Franklin.
While Lawrence is a
Ms.
racist,
Franklin.
misogynistic, and threatening,
Ms. Franklin.
the way he runs his court is the most problematic.
Point of order.
Sixth
Ms.
Amendment
Franklin,
guarantees rights of criminal defendants. These rights include the right to attorney, the right to a fair and impartial trial.
Ms. Franklin, you're
That
forcing
means
me
if
to
you
do
live in
something I
Oakland,
really do
California,
not want to do. You're going to have
Chicago,
to
Illinois, or even a small town like Russellville,
either speak to the
Arkansas,
item that we're
you are
considering.
entitled to an attorney if you cannot afford one yourself.
Again, we are not discussing that.
You are
That has
also
nothing to
entitled
do
to
with
a
a
fair
boiler
trial.
replacement
It
at the
is the
city
duty
police
of the
department.
court for the pertinent financial information
Okay.
from the defendant to access whether or not the
Counsel,
person can afford it.
we'll stand in adjournment for the next 10 minutes. Ms. Franklin, you need to leave the chamber. Thank you. We're adjourned for 10 minutes. Appropriation 1, which has to do with boiler repair at the police department. She is not speaking. She said nothing about the issue of repairing a boiler at the police department.
You can state what you said. I just wanted to
Ma'am,
that you told me that
ma'am.
I could come up here and sign that list and speak.
Please,
Okay.
don't act like I don't understand. I was listening to
Okay,
what
you
she
can
said.
admit that too. I
She
just
was talking about drainage, she was talking about district court, she was talking about Judge Bourne. This is not the proper venue for that. We have no jurisdiction. There is a place called the Judicial Review Board, I believe. Is that the name of it, Mr. Smith?
Judicial Discipline and Disability Commission.
There is a Judicial Disciplinary and, say it again,
Disability Commission.
and Disability Commission in Little Rock, where that is properly handled. He is our city attorney. We have no jurisdiction in this matter. It is not an item on our agenda. The law says we are not supposed to discuss it tonight. And Ms. Franklin is fully aware of this. We explained it to her.
As I told the mayor, I thought that the lady could sign up to speak, and I was wrong because of the ordinance. I did not know the ordinance.
But I by email corrected that yesterday or the day before. Ms. Franklin, you knew our rules of procedure.
I asked you to provide that in procedure or writing.
You did not ask me to. You did not ask me to provide it. You told me that you didn't see any law and that you would see me Thursday night.
Did I ask for it in writing? Did you tell me you were going to get in contact with Tracy? Did you say that?
You asked for in writing if whether or not you were going to be able to speak to the council. Yes.
Okay. And did you provide me anything? So the only other option I had was got the info from this man on Friday who told me that I could speak to them.
You had a.
So without providing the procedures and bylaws, I asked that I be allowed to finish speaking because you don't have any written rules.
We do have written rules.
Where are they, sir? You didn't provide them.
Mr. Smith, can you provide them? You did not ask me for rules.
Sir, I asked everyone in your office.
You did not ask me for rules.
Incompetent and they don't have
When I sent you an email, you had every opportunity to ask me for them, and you did not do that. I would have told, because I had already told you this is not the proper venue. We have no jurisdiction.
Do you have procedures or rules that I can see today that tell me that I cannot speak?
We are. You're free to walk about for 7 more minutes.
Mayor, if I may interject, would it be a compromise to allow X number, whatever our ordinance says, X number of minutes at the close of the meeting? If Ms. Franklin would agree to that, you know, in place of every item, and just agree to have a time allotment at the end of the meeting to say her piece?
Well, we did away with that open discussion thing a couple of years ago.
You did.
But
But we could add
if,
it back
if the,
if
ca-
needed.
no, if you don't mind, let me finish with Mr. Tripp. The council could add this as a late agenda item if you really want to hear it. But I'll remind you, you have no jurisdiction whatsoever over any matter of district court. So,
Okay,
Elected officials, and you should have integrity and care what's going on over at the district court. People's rights are being violated,
and we do.
being arrested. No, you don't, because you don't want to hear about it. I'm here to tell you about what I experienced. You won't even let me speak.
If the council wants to hear it, they can add it later at the end of the meeting as a late agenda item. It is not currently on there, and you are not addressing the item that is under discussion.
I called Jerry Friday, Jerry. I asked Jerry, could she come and speak? I asked Jerry more than once, could she come and speak? And Jerry told me she could. All she had to do was sign up, and she would be recognized to speak.
When did Jerry become the legal authority of the city council?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. If you want to speak, go to the microphone. Because I really can't hear what you're saying. Not for 6 more minutes, and then you can speak to the item that we're discussing. If you've got an interest in a boiler repair at the police department, the only other way you could do it is if the council adds this as a late agenda item.
Public defender being paid $80,000 a year and never showing up at the district court. That is what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about me having to represent myself and other people having to represent themselves because they can't afford an attorney, and that the judge doesn't even ask if you can afford an attorney. So the city is being paid money by people who are underserved, undereducated, who are socioeconomically challenged to the city. And they don't even have representation. That's what I want to discuss.
All right. Can we do the late agenda item?
I would force it now, yes.
Mayor, I would be
Take a vote.
fine if we want to allocate X number. I mean, I'll make that motion. Whether or not it passes, I
Well-
don't know, but if we want to,
Meeting is adjourned for 5 more minutes, Mr. Tripp. When it comes back, we'll be happy to let you make that motion. But we're going to follow procedure. We passed the law. You guys passed this law, not me. If you're not going to follow your own rules, then you can be the one that explains that. If you want to talk about it, make a motion later, as soon as we re-adjourn, to add it as a late agenda item. And we'll suspend the finance meeting and we'll go ahead and deal with that.
Where can I find that ordinance that we did that?
Mr. Smith, it's the one we pass the first thing every year.
Let's see.
It's your rules of procedure.
I don't have the number, but it is up on the website. It's been there since January.
Your secretary couldn't find it for me. Ms. Taylor couldn't find it for me.
Ms. Taylor's not my secretary. Just like,
She's the clerk. Your secretary downstairs couldn't find it.
I understand that.
She upstairs and led me to this gentleman that told me I could.
Right, who's the finance director? Who's the finance director, doesn't have a law degree.
That has nothing to do with.
Sure it does, has everything to do. If you get your information from a,
He told me that. So y'all trust him enough to let him control the finances. Why wouldn't I trust his information when he told me?
because he has no training in legal matters.
It is the duty of the court to find out pertinent
Gavel her in.
information from the defendant to assess whether or not the person can afford an attorney. If they cannot, it is the duty of the court to appoint a public defender. In this case, it would be someone from James Dunn, but according to them, they seldomly get appointed because Judge Bourne will appoint for those people who are able-bodied. The Constitution is settled law. It is not for Judge Bourne or anyone else to do with that issue.
Can I call the,
So citizens who
Okay.
plead not guilty are forced
Miss-
to defend themselves at a trial against a city attorney who
Miss
is
Young-
paid for with taxpayer dollars.
Ms. Young Franklin,
Another defender who is paid over
Ma'am.
$75,000 taxpayer dollars
hold on,
to do
hold
what?
on, hold on. All right. Our 10 minutes adjournment is not quite up, but Mr. Smith advises me that since everybody is here, all right, we can go ahead and come back into session. Now, I would entertain a motion to add this as a late agenda item if the council wants to consider it. Mr. Tripp,
I would move to add this at the end of the meeting for what is our normal time, 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
5.
5 minutes.
5 minutes and put a,
I had told her 3 minutes. Didn't I tell you 3 minutes?
Well, our rules tell them 5. so
Okay, I didn't
let's,
know.
Please, if we're going to try to follow the rules, let's follow them. If we're not, then, you know,
I still would like to see
Hannah.
the established rules. I have to think on
we'll see if we can get somebody to get those for you.
would that be suitable with you if we set this for at the late agenda item at the end of the meeting?
Good. Pastor Tice, you signed up to speak. You did not mention an agenda. Can I assume that you would like to speak to this issue also? Sir? Okay.
Mayor, that needs a second, I presume, before it's.
Do we need to go ahead and approve that now? All right, Mr. Tripp has made a motion to add this as a late agenda item at the end of our prepared agenda. I need a second.
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please. What you're voting on is the motion to add a late agenda item. Mr. Smith, 5 votes?
Yes.
We need 5 votes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Okay, Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Brown was no. Mr. Straight?
No.
Mr. Sims?
No.
Mr. Westcott?
No.
Mr. Wiley?
No.
Ms. Caruth? No.
All right. The motion to add the late agenda item fails. Your next option would be to get with one of these council members that sponsored it and get it put on the October. This is not something that's happened in the last few months. Get with them and see if they want to sponsor it and properly add it to the October agenda, okay? We'll be sure and give everybody a reminder. Let's see. Jerry, could you jump on the website and pull up our rules of procedure? They were passed in January. All right. Item 1 has been approved. Item 2, an appropriation for medallions for the new fire station.
What is this?
That was presented in the form of a motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Dad, we've
Any discussion?
Yes. Just a question. Right now, this is going to come out of what fund?
general funds.
General fund. Why would this not come out of the fire department's budget? The medallions, why would they not come out of the fire department's budget?
That was something, we did the same thing for the aquatic center last year. Are we talking about the little coins?
Yeah.
No, we just sent Jerry out. We just paid him out of admin.
Do you have room in your fire department budget for that kind of thing?
Well, we don't have that as one of our line items, there's part of.
Office supplies, you have office supplies in your, that's what it would come out of here.
We don't have that much in our office supply line item for the whole year. But we'll, I mean,
Okay. No, I'm not going to be a stickler over it. I was just asking for clarification of, since it was thoroughly a fire department project, why that would not come out of the fire department's budget, but I'm good either way.
That was kind of our thing that, you know, it's pretty common among cities when they're doing a noted new project to do them. And so when we did it for the aquatic center, we just took it out of admin. But
We took it out
to
of
do-
what?
Took it out of the administration office supply. This year, we didn't have enough money. So
Thank you.
I think we pretty well stripped that in the budget this year. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 2 is approved, Mr. Chair.
Okay, sir. Item number 3, appropriation for the aquatic center. This is an expense for pension for the part-time workers, $2,932.27. I put that in as a motion to the council for approval.
You're talking
This comes out of the
1351.
general funds, by the way.
Are you going to speak about
Aquatic center.
coins for the fire station?
Aquatic center, I want to speak about the aquatic center.
Okay. Let us get it introduced. Mr. Chair,
Nope.
would you finish your motion?
Yes, sir.
Did you? All right.
That was for 1351.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,351.
I have, is it motion second yet?
It's a motion from the committee. It does not need a second.
Oh,
So
is it discussion?
Yes.
My question is, why is there pension for part-time employees?
Yeah, good question.
Well, that's what I'm not sure about either. Vanessa, do you know what kicked that in?
They went over.
Please?
I don't remember us doing this.
Or go take over for Jerry and send him in here. All right. I was wondering that too, why we're doing a pension for.
Yeah, we had a situation where 3 employees went over their hours, and when they get so many hours, it puts them in the pension plan. And so that's why that money has to be put over in there. We had to go back to when they were hired, when this started, and so that's where that comes from. It was kind of our fault. It was our mistake, but once we did it, we had to correct it, and they have to stay in the pension plan too. Those are APR's rules, not the city's.
Do we have restrictions? Do we have a salary, an hourly schedule so that this doesn't continue to happen?
Yes, we realized that we need to do something different, Ms. Harris, once this happened. So yes, we've got a plan in place to make sure this doesn't happen again. We have about 20 part-time employees that work over there, a lot of hiring, a lot of turnover, some things like that, and these 3 fell through the cracks, so.
So are you saying we have to pay this?
Right, right.
I like that.
Yeah, it's part of the APR's rules.
Whose responsibility is it to keep up with all this?
It would really be the aquatic manager to kind of know what people's hours were every month, that type of thing. You're dealing with people that their hours vary, they're college students, it varies from week to week. They're all part-time employees.
Does this all happen on one occurrence?
It
or
has. It
Has
has.
this happened a few times?
No, this is the first time that it's happened.
Is there several, how many employees?
Over 20 that they're doing timesheets for every 2 weeks, and these are the 3 that they went over their hours, basically.
So you've got 3 that did this?
Yes.
Well, I think we need to change our system over there a little bit.
Yeah,
We have changed it. What we were on basically we was on the wrong calendar.
Hold on, Terry.
Yeah, we've changed this where it can't happen again. We've got a spreadsheet now to where it will work out to where it doesn't happen again. What happened was was it August when we had the 3? It was in August when we had the 3 pay periods. And that threw us off because we were basically on the wrong calendar for our part-time people. Because, our calendar during fall, on the end of the month, it falls sometimes in the middle of the month, our pay calendar. So we just got off on that, but now we've got it situated where we can't do that again.
Thank you.
Is this going to be a one-time appropriation?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So even though they'll have some money tucked away in their retirement, it's not like we are obligated now to appropriate money towards their retirement.
No, it'll have to be something that's built in. It'll be on their checks every single time.
Do what now?
It'll be forever.
Yeah, they stay in the pension plan once they're in there. They stay in there. You can't. That's
terrible.
So they will be contributing towards their pension, or the
Yes.
taxpayers will be contributing towards their pension?
both, because they have to contribute and we have to contribute according to APR's rules.
Basically, one of
So much
the
for your
employees, one of the employees only fills in for us, so he won't have hardly any time anyway. Then the other employee, we're hoping to put in Jacob's spot when Jacob leaves in January anyway, because we're gonna have to fill his full-time spot to begin with. And this guy, one of these guys is the one we want to take his spot because he doesn't go to school and he doesn't have another job. He just works fully part-time for us. And then the third one is, I'm believing she's in her last semester of school, so she won't work for us much longer either.
So on the record, as the Parks and Rec director, who is over the Aquatic Center too, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do we have your assurance that never, ever, ever will this ever come to us again?
I'm hoping so, yes.
Can we have your assurance tonight that this will never happen again, that we have part-time employees that are going to be paid pension from now to eternity?
Huh?
Yes, sir, we'll make that happen.
Thank you.
Really?
You don't want it to happen.
Ms. Young Franklin, did you want to speak to the Aquatic Center and only to the Aquatic Center?
Hello? We have a $6 million glorified swimming hole. We don't even have a court reporter or a recording device at the district court. So whatever happens over there, no one even knows. It's the defendant's word against the judge's word.
Mayor, this doesn't have nothing to do with the court.
We can build fine art centers and football complexes, but as a city, we
Okay.
can't hire someone to pipe.
Yeah. Ms. Franklin,
Sir,
we're trying. And-
Mr.
and
Horton,
they
I
offer-
have a question to ask you, sir. When you were the financial advisor, you gave yourself basically a $30,000 pay increase.
That's not
And then you
so.
ran for mayor. Can you take some of that money and hire a court reporter for the city of Russellville? Why are people having to go to court
Mayor?
and no one can even testify to what happened in there?
You were offered a chance. You've been offered the opportunity for the council to add this as a late agenda item. They decided not to hear it.
I'm still waiting on the paperwork for Mr. Captain.
We're working on getting that for you, okay?
So until you have established rules, why can't I speak?
Because
have
you're not
established-
speaking about the aquatic
Sir, you're
center.
not the mayor.
We have established
I'm on the
rules.
court.
We're
I'm in-
getting you those rules. And clearly, you're not trying to make a point about whether or not we should pay this pension.
You all
on
now have
part-time
the
workers.
information, and while I know that any complaints that anyone else has or myself should be addressed to the JCDC, it is imperative that
All right,
as elected officials in
Mayor.
Russellville, you do
Ma'am.
your diligence to find out the facts
Ma'am.
concerning the court.
Ma'am,
If the city does nothing to correct the lack of representation at the
All right.
court, and the city continues to
I think it's time, don't you?
It's been
more than time.
Ms. Franklin, I've been more than patient. The council has been more than patient. Please leave the courtroom. We'll try to do that. Please leave the courtroom. We'll get you a copy of the ordinance as soon as we can. It exists. We're trying to find it. We didn't know we needed that for you tonight. Thank you. All right, any other discussion on finance agenda item 3? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 3 is approved.
Item 4, appropriations, the fire contingency fund. This is a pass-through. It's for the Russellville Junior Firefighter Academy or Challenge, and it's for $6,000. I make that form of motion to the council for approval.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. All in favor, any discussion?
What's this come out of?
Comes out of the fire contingency fund.
So we've got money in there?
Yeah, Chief, that's one of those special funds that can only be used for your purposes.
Yes, it absolutely is. Money already there. Actually, the reason that we're moving that over is just to get started. Our plan is not to use the money. That will be done in private donations, funded by private donations.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 4 is approved.
Okay, item number 5 is for the open cemetery. It's a pass-through for $1,850. It's for the opening and closing of the gravesite. I put that in form of motion to the council for approval.
Council, you heard the motion. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 5 is approved.
Item number 6 for the street department. It's for the parking lot improvements, and it's in the amount of $358,731.08. It's for the parking lot drainage at the new building. This is there's 3 areas that's been offered for this to come up. I make that a motion with consideration for conversation.
All right, council, if you look on your sheet, Jerry has given you 3 different funds. There was some discussion Tuesday night about which fund to take it out of. Mr. Smith, do you have advice on any of these? as to whether we can do this out of, which, is there a fund we cannot use?
You can use the municipal aid fund. That's the only one you can't use.
Which one?
Can or cannot?
Can.
Cannot. Yeah.
The municipal aid fund you can use for the parking lot.
Which one is that, Jerry?
I don't know what it is. You got to ask him.
Yeah, Jerry?
The
You know which
municipal aid and the county money is all in the Fund 202, you see, that has $3,087,000.
Okay.
So we
that's-
can't use that one?
You can.
You can.
Oh, we can?
You can't use the municipal aid money, is that right?
You can use.
Can use the municipal aid money, okay.
And in,
Yes,
Is
it's
the
in,
358,000 worth of that 3 million in there?
I'd have to analyze it back 10 years because it's all been this year.
But it's 202 fund, right?
Yes.
Just take it out of there.
Is there a way you can separate that, Jerry? Is it's been together so long you can't separate it?
That's been together so long, it's that who would know which one is which? We're getting about $1 million a year from municipal aid. We get $590,000 from the millage.
If this comes up again, is there a way you can start now and
Yes,
separate
we
them?
can do that now.
Okay.
I can go back at least 6 years and see what we've actually received in the last 6 years.
You want to do that?
Take it out of 202.
I think it'll be enough in there to cover it.
Out of 202?
Yes.
Excellent.
do you want it to come from?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Jerry, can you think of
What did you
a,
first recommend?
I said take it out of the half cent, that street sales tax of that half cent tax.
The 202 is.
Because
the
it is definitely,
let's go one at a time and use the mics because we're losing some of the conversation. Jerry, finish your comment.
I would said the half cent sales tax because I know that it can be used for parking lots. It's definitely in the description.
Mayor, with the
Mr. Tripp.
202 being the most restrictive fund and having them over $3 million in it, I would recommend using that fund since the city attorney says it's acceptable to do so.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Sounds like we agree.
need
So
that in the motion?
We can vote on
do
that.
we need to make a motion to put that in because the committee's motion did not specify?
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Smith?
I'll make a motion to
We need to do it by motion.
pay that out
All
of
right.
the 202 fund.
Second.
Okay, so to keep us all on line, Mr. Tripp
Mr. Mayor,
has made a motion. Wait a minute.
Are you recommending the 202 or the 205?
Mayor,
All right, let's get back on track here.
Did you have-
Mr.
excuse me,
Tripp,
Mr.
wait a
Mayor.
minute. Mr. Tripp has made a motion that we use the 202 Street Department rollover fund for this, and we have a second from Mr. Westcott. Now, discussion to that, Mr.?
okay. I would just like to ask our financial director, who is hired to do these numbers for us, what his reasoning was for asking originally that the funds come out of 204.
Because I knew that it could be used for parking lot fund, repair or upgrades.
Okay? And this is a parking lot for our new
Public Works,
Public Works building, but it also includes some drainage work underneath,
yes.
And that was bidded out.
and it has been bid out.
Yes.
yeah,
It was bid last month, we accepted the bid.
Yeah.
We just didn't appropriate the money.
Well, I just think that if our financial director wants to take it out of a certain fund, that we don't need to micromanage him, tell him to take it out of another fund. That's my whole point. I have complete confidence that he runs our numbers and knows where to take his money from.
This is not a lack of confidence, Jerry.
I understand that.
You gave
No.
us 3 options.
That's right.
All were legal options of where to take this money from.
That is correct.
The first option being Fund 202, as has been stated, is the most restrictive.
Mayor, you
So
got a
if we're going to
motion
take the
and a
money
second.
out of a
We're having
fund,
discussion.
we
Let's give it a minute.
should reasonably take it out of the one that's most restrictive to where this
That's
fits.
right.
Because the other funds can be used for a great many other things.
Yes.
That's correct.
And Jerry, when you recommended that, it was because you looked and you knew it specifically said parking lot, but with Trey's opinion, that we can use 202 for parking lot improvements.
That's correct.
Are you comfortable using that now?
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, so right now, we've got a motion and a second. Mr. Tripp made the motion, Mr. Westcott seconded to use 202. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we will be voting now on the appropriation from Fund 202. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 6 is approved. Now to make the council feel better about that, we should have a change order already in sometime next week on this, reducing that number by, I think it's around $29,000. So, item 7, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, it's kind of tied in with 8 some, but resolution to accept a bid from Belden Specialties for the Waterworks Road project. This bid was for $92,227.56. Is that correct?
Yes.
The bid is 110, I believe.
That's the
Okay,
appropriation.
That was what he wanted.
That's to take care of the engineering also.
Yeah, but that's.
Okay, all right, I stand corrected. All right, so you want to do 7 and 8 separately or together? 8 is the
Well,
appropriation.
the bid, we're going to accept the bid. Let's go ahead and accept the bid, then approve
All
the
right.
110.
Council, you heard the committee's motion to accept the bid from Bowden Specialties. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 7 is approved.
Number 8 was tied into this sum, but it's for the design and work construction of the Waterworks Road, and he's asking for $110,000 to cover total cost.
All right, council, you heard the committee's motion.
I make a motion on that, sir.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 8 is approved.
Resolution to accept the bid from Hard Rock Construction. I'd like to tie that in if I could for appropriation for $762,078. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, put 9 and 10 together on approval?
Okay, you want to do 9 and 10 together?
Yes, sir.
Committee, you heard
Make
council,
that a
you heard.
motion, sir.
All right, council, you heard the motion to approve 9 and 10 both. Any discussion on that?
Mayor, if Mr. Duval might know, what's the projected length of this project? Do you recall by any chance?
No, sir, I can't really remember. But I'll find out.
Okay, it's fine.
90 days.
Any other discussion? All in favor, we're voting on 9 and 10. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 9 and 10 are approved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'd like to try to add 11 and 12 together since there's, resolution to accept the bid for United Fist Construction and appropriation for amount $73,244. Put that in motion to accept those together.
Council, you heard the motion, items 11 and 12. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, how many people bidded on that?
I believe we had 2.
That's
That's
correct.
the low bid?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Man, I need to start building fences.
How many feet of fencing are we talking about?
Oh, do you remember the footage, Jerry? Mr. Duval, do you remember how many feet?
Yeah, I need to start building fences.
1,562 feet.
Oh, that's not so
And
bad.
some of that has the privacy slats.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And were the automatic gates in that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, council. Other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 11 and 12 are approved.
Okay, 13, resolution for the mayor and city clerk treasurer to execute any necessary documents related to purchase of property for City Corp, 600 South Arkansas Avenue. Okay, I think this is gonna be used for storage. Is that correct, Jerry?
What?
Are they gonna get this for storage?
It's for shop.
For shop, okay.
And we went around about this Tuesday night. Mr. Bartlett and Mr. Childers are here if you got some questions you'd like to ask. I'd ask them one just because they've stayed this long.
I'd like to ask them, I wasn't here.
South Arkansas.
Exactly what are you gonna be moving in there?
We are expanding our maintenance division that's currently in the little building next to our administration building.
Yes?
They've outgrown that, and so we're no longer able to rebuild our pumps and service our large vehicles or anything such as that. We also have a sewer maintenance division that is got 2 large pieces of equipment that are on order, and we do have no place to store them inside. And so we looked at building a large facility at our construction shop, but due to economics, it was almost half the price to purchase this and remodel it.
Makes sense.
So we thought it was good use of the money to do that instead of building one at our place out there.
Being not familiar exactly where the address is, what building is this here?
The old Russellville Tire.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
all right.
That'd be a good building for that.
That's good, thank you.
Thank you.
That'd be a
Any
good-
other discussion?
Just, Mayor, just for the
Mr.
sake of the
Westcott?
people in the audience who might not know, at the price of $525,000, the City Corp is going to end up actually paying for that. Is
They
that
pay all
correct?
of that,
Okay,
closing cost and all.
okay, thank you.
Good point, thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item's approved.
14, 15's been tabled. 16,
Could I ask a question, Larry, if you don't mind? It's quick, it's simple. We've had this grant writer thing on here now for months.
About 4 months.
Can we just kind of drop that and bring it back later? Is that okay with you?
That's
I
okay
agree
with
with
me.
that.
That's
until we
okay
get
with me.
something concrete.
Until we
Unless-
get better arrangements with
Yeah,
Mr. Harville and
yeah.
the Alliance. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harrell said he'd go with us. so
Yes. Okay.
I agree.
Okay, back to 16. Discussion for purchasing the KRV radio building at Second and Boulder. Mayor.
Council, just one update. Earlier, I heard from Richard Nichols at the station here. He heard from Mr. Caldwell that actually owns the business. He's looking for some kind of, if we're not, I guess basically the way it was put, if we're not going to do it, he would like to know because he does intend to list the property now. So
Mayor, did you say we could buy that?
that's all I know.
Did you say we could buy that and take so many years to pay it off?
We had that discussion.
So would he go for that?
We could certainly write that in an offer. I think that would be the proper way to do it.
I do
would be
too.
If you guys want to, we will, give me some guidance, what you want. We'll do an offer and then go back and forth and then bring it back for your approval, if you want to do it at all.
Would you be able to work up what you want and present it to the Finance Committee at our next scheduled Finance Committee meeting where we'll have time to discuss that downstairs?
And then bring it back?
And then bring it back next
Be
month?
happy to. The reason, Jerry likes the idea of paying cash, and I do too, and I think we all do, because we don't do long-term financing. We're very cautious about that. But this would probably be a zero-interest deal. We could kind of write the terms, and because where I got a little nervous was discussing, we still are exploring the fiber optic deal, and we're still finishing up the build out on Public Works, and this is all coming out of the same pile. if the council prefers, we could discuss that and bring it back. And
I'm ready to vote.
the only thing I'm wondering is if he wants us to do it in the form of an offer, so that we're not just, you know, kind of spitballing. It's basically the same deal. Any offer we write would be contingent on council approval. And so, how far do you want to go? I mean,
Am I correct? Did we not get,
Ms. Caruth,
did we not get
pull your
price
mic.
of $170,000 on that building?
That's correct.
I would just like to know, I mean, do we have any appraisal on it? Have we had anyone look at it? I mean,
We,
looked like
he had to have it appraised. He had to have it appraised last year when he bought it. And we have not asked for a secondary appraisal, but I don't think prices have changed any.
Have we looked at the building?
Yes, ma'am.
It has a new roof on it.
It does have a new roof, and E&F actually did that roof a couple of years ago. And so while they were doing, they just completed the roof on the old central fire station. So while they were at it, they went over there and did an inspection, and everything's groovy on it. So groovy would be for people my age and older. Mr. Tripp, your generation hadn't accepted that term yet, but it means things look good on the roof.
Thanks, I think.
All right. So where we're going to leave it is, you want us to negotiate and come back with something serious to talk about?
Do you know how many square feet it is?
Yes.
I did it one time, Ms. Caruth. I don't remember.
Would you send the appraisal out with it also?
What, do we want to ask for a current one or look at his old one?
I think we should know a little bit more about it. I just don't.
Old one to start with.
Okay. We can do that. Square footage, Jerry, square footage, appraisal, and terms. And probably, we could probably get a cash price and also a finance price. We'll do that. Item 17, Mr. Chair.
This is a discussion on the purchase of fitness and equipment for the fire department. I'd like to have Chief Sloan here give us a short explanation here. When we had appropriated money for this to be bought originally, so.
There was not ever any money appropriated, and we're not asking for any money. And I apologize for any misunderstanding. In fact, I'll go back a little bit. You know, the voters of Russellville were gracious enough to give us, the city, an amount of money to build a station and furnish a station. We've done that, and we worked really hard to make sure that we stayed on top of it. We made sure that we came in under budget. In fact, we still have roughly $25,000 in that building fund that must be spent on that station. The other thing, the fitness room was part of the construction phase. But furnishing that, if any of you remember, because we took you all through, when we would take you into that room and joke about it being our yoga room, our intention from the very beginning was to apply for a grant for that equipment, and we have done that. We were turned down on at least one, but we did receive a grant to purchase that equipment. And the only thing that we're asking for really is, and this goes back to our research and the time that we put in on this over the last 2 years, is asking you to consider an ordinance to waive competitive bidding so that we can take the money that was given to us in this grant and try to get the type of equipment that will last, that we put in that room and it's going to be there for 20 years plus. And really that's all we're asking for tonight, is that consideration. Do y'all have any questions?
First question, how much was the grant?
The grant it actually came through the Arkansas Department of Emergency Management. This year alone, we will receive roughly $40,000. We apply for this grant in January each year. We got it last year. We did not spend that. We have $65,000 appropriated in that 833 account. And we did that knowing that with this new station, there might be things that came up that we needed to spend money on that we did not want to come back to the citizens of Russellville and ask for money. So we purposely saved that money, set it aside for this purpose.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Chief, would you tell us, I mean, your guys are obviously mostly pretty fit. Is there a reason that this is such a big deal?
Well, I'm going to tell you, and this is not anything that's new. This has been an initiative since I started over 26 years ago. The importance of maintaining physical fitness in the fire service is, it has a direct correlation with productivity, with longevity, with return on investment on our assets, being our main assets, which are those firefighters. Also a decrease in workman's comp claims, cost, decrease in sick time. And I read a study, of course I've been researching this a little more, even getting prepared for this meeting, but I read a study that compared it to a professional football team, and the actual energy that is exerted when you have a structure fire is considered every bit as demanding as a professional football game. These guys are strapping on anywhere from 50 to 70 pounds. They are dragging hose. They are going into an environment that is a superheated environment, very difficult environment. And the truth is, if we have an asset that is in good physical shape, that maintains that, and we encourage him to do that, when we have a fire, we're going to get a lot more work out of that asset than we are one that does not do that. Now you know, one of the biggest challenges as chief of the department, really and truly, is, because we've talked a lot about efficiency, and that is at the top of our priority list, getting the most out of any asset that you provide or the citizens of Russellville provide to us. This is one way, and it's one of our greatest challenges, is how do we motivate to get these guys in the gym, to get these guys doing not just strength training, but cardio, flexibility, all those things, eating right, nutrition. And I will tell you that that's a challenge, because we're people just like everybody else. You know, it's hard to get those guys motivated. We've done things like we provide extra credit when it comes to promotions, because we give a physical test, and if they score, the better they score on that, the more credit they get towards that promotion. But another aspect of encouraging them and motivating and providing is providing the opportunity to actually do it, and that's what we're here today trying to do. And this is not unique to Russellville. You can look at the fire service across the nation, and it'd be hard to find a new fire station that does not contain some type of physical fitness asset. So,
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Sims,
as I know the fire department knows, I think the council knows, last year I had the honor of actually spending a shift with the fire department. The first thing we did, soon after we checked out all the equipment and everything, is they reminded me, they told me to bring my gym bag. And so we went over to a local fitness center. We had to take the equipment from the firehouse over to the gym, and they put me through the ringer pretty good, Chief. But anyway, I worked out with them and all those kind of things. Had we had a call during that whole time, everything would have changed. We'd had to take the equipment and make the call. I point that out because having this fitness center inside the fire department keeps us from having to put our equipment out on the streets just to go make, and the public perception was that those guys were just over there working out on our time. No, they were staying in shape for the job that they do. It's a 24-hour shift, by the way. And so anyway, I think just having it there handier or closer would be a lot more, it's going to be a lot more convenient, and that in itself should encourage the gentleman to work out on that. Anyway, that's all I have to say on that.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, Chief, thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right.
You're Robert?
So the committee's motion was to pass? Is that correct? Was there other discussion?
Richard had something he would like to share, if you have just a minute.
I did want to say one thing because
You're not going to talk us out of this, are you?
no, I promised something to y'all, and I owe it to you. We promised when we got in this building to be part of the community, and today we had Leadership Tech come for an event. The mayor did a presentation. We gave him a tour, and this is a part of a number of events that we've held since we moved in. And if I look at this list, and I look at the interagency training that we've had with the active shooter, the Arkansas Department of Emergency Management training, we've even had gatherings of Dr. Gocher from the Russellville School District, did an admin executive training session. We also had one of the elementary schools do an in-service before the school. We've had Congressman Steve Womack came by and actually held some public meetings in our conference area. And what I'm trying to tell you is of all these meetings that we've had, I counted today, we've had 582 members of the public come through, not as tours, but as part of meetings and classes or training. Nearly 600 in less than 6 months. I think that's a testament to you all allowing us to put this facility there that is opened its arms to the public. It's a testament to our promise to you that we're going to be part of the community and open our doors. And I think it's also a great marketing tool when I see people come like Congressman Womack from out of town and specifically request that he have his public meetings at the Russell Fire Department. And I just think that we owed that to you.
Thank you.
Right now, we don't have an ordinance to address. Is that correct? To waive competitive bidding?
We do not have it prepared. We could bring it back next month, but
I'd like to make a motion that we
if you make a,
approve it.
yeah.
You need an ordinance,
All right,
Yeah.
we'll have to prepare an ordinance to waive the bidding, but if you wanted to make a motion of some kind to indicate whether you want us to go to that, Mr. Smith, to go to that?
Yeah, I move that we prepare the ordinance to waive competitive bidding, bring back
Okay.
at our next meeting.
Does anybody want to second that?
Second.
All right, motion and a second for Mr. Smith to prepare an ordinance in support of waiving the bidding on fitness equipment. Any other discussion?
Well, just one comment that I see here, it says, you know, like we're discussing it for them to purchase it. And
Right.
they already have the money, they just want to waive the right to bid it so they
Right.
can get the equipment that they really need.
Yeah. That's correct. Anything else? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Good enough, Chief? We'll get the ordinance prepared and bring it back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mayor, point of order question for you.
Mr. Tripp?
On number 16, since the Finance Committee actually moved everything to the council, do we actually need to take action and move that back to the Finance Committee?
Well,
Because I believe the Finance Committee just passed everything to the council.
We did.
We did.
probably so. Well,
Make a motion
did his
back.
motion cover that? Because the motion was for us to negotiate as close as we could an agreement
And
and
then
then bring it back.
To the finance
He said
committee.
bring it back to, you said finance, right?
Okay, I
So
stand
is that
corrected,
cover
okay.
it?
You'll need to do a refer back to the finance committee.
All right, so let's clean it up. Mr.
Make
Tripp,
a motion, to move that back to the Finance Committee.
Mr. Tripp is making a motion to refer item 16 back to the Finance Committee Mr. Westcott is seconding that. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. That brings us to number 18, Mr. Chair.
Number 18, discussion, continue the job path relationship with the friendship community, care for the rest of the year. This will include a coach and one of 2 workers for 2.5 hours a week. Send that for approval to the council in the form of motion.
All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion?
How's that working out, Mayor?
Beautifully.
That's, everything I've heard has been positive.
That's why I asked that question. I wanted you to answer it like that.
Anything else? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 18 is approved.
Okay, number 19.
Hold on. It looks like Mr.
Well, we need
What's
an
his name?
agreement drawn up, Trey, for that,
What's that?
for that item 18, to continue that.
It
The,
doesn't show anything in the title to show that it's an ordinance.
No, I just saw an agreement, not an ordinance. We had an agreement before. I didn't know if we needed to draw up another one or just continue the same old agreement.
I've not been shown any paperwork that would show it's an agreement. So, I mean, you got something, but there was nothing in 18 to show that it was.
Okay.
so we'll get all of that together and bring it. Okay. Item 19.
Okay, again, I start with, this is appropriation for police department. It's for $31,045. This is replacing 2014 Explorer that they had wrecked. And they've got part of the insurance settlement, but this is money that we'll need to put a vehicle back on the road there. I put that in form of motion to the council.
Council, you heard the committee's motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 19 is approved.
Item number 20, discussion of health insurance for city employees. This is from Jerry and Vanessa. This is for alternative choices. Jerry?
Mayor, if I may, I think we need to move this back also to the Finance Committee because they need to give us a recommendation instead of just moving it to the council.
For what?
That's my motion.
Second.
All right. Say it again, because
Move this back to the Finance Committee for them to make a determination and recommendation to the council.
okay. So we have a motion for Mr. Tripp and a second for Mr. Westcott to refer item 20 back to Finance Committee. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Can I say
Well,
something though?
yeah, we
first?
can do discussion.
Because, is Vanessa left, do we have time to do such? When's the enrollment period?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
It's a
I
rush,
think that-
kind of
yeah.
a rush.
We just have to do it by our
Yeah.
October meeting.
Our October meeting.
Do you want to give an update, either one of you, what's happened this week?
Please no.
I can if you want me to. Because I talked to the municipal league today
Yep.
concerning the options
Would
that
you
I-
talk into your mic?
I'm sorry, Ms. Harris. I talked to the municipal league today, and I talked to Mrs. Bond earlier, make sure she knew. I presented them with a couple options like other employers do in Russellville as far as giving the employee more than one option to choose from. And a lady from their legal counsel called, we emailed back and forth and we made phone contact today. And she said it is something that they are interested in doing, but right now their system is not updated enough to do that. They would hopefully like to maybe do it next year, but it might even be the year after, but it is something they're interested in. And the reason why I brought that up to them is because we have so many city employees, and the way it's structured right now, whatever we choose, they're stuck with. I mean, sure, we're paying a large percentage of it, but it's still the way that, for example, the school district does it. You have 3 different options, and so an employee gets to choose what works best for their family not just a one-size-fits-all. And so that's why I at least wanted to have that conversation with them, knowing that's not an option at this point going forward. I would like a little bit more study time before we make this decision. And that's why I made that motion.
Okay.
Can I add on that? I thought we were doing this so we could offer options to them in regard to that.
Not two members for
This is a
Well,
yearly.
That's what some of them asked for.
There were
so.
3 different choices, Blue Cross and Qual Choice, a couple of
Right.
the companies.
Yeah.
Excuse me, do we have to make a decision about which one we choose? Can we not give that to the employee?
No.
Well, that's, we asked their opinion.
Yes.
Do you have an update on that, Mr. McCoy
Vaughn has
or Ms. Vaughn?
We sent out a survey last week to ask employees kind of which option they preferred, to stay with the $500 deductible or to go with the $1,200 deductible. We also included 2 other plans in there, a Blue Cross plan and a Qual Choice plan that ran about 30 to 40% higher than what our employees are paying today. The results, 32 want to stay with the same plan they have today with the $500 deductible and pay just a little bit more. The next one that was on the list was option 2, which was to move to the $1,200 deductible. We had 10 people that voted for that one. And then for the Blue Cross and Qual Choice that were, again, considerably higher, there were only 7 people total that voted for those. What I'm hearing from employees is they do not have the $1,200 money for the deductible. They want to stay with the $500 deductible. But we did do the research, Mr. Brown. We did get quotes from multiple brokers to see if we could be competitive with them in the current plan that we have, and they're about 30, 40, and 50% higher than the rates that we're paying today.
Thank you. So we have how many employees right now? 173 that are on this insurance, is that right?
Right.
Okay, and the numbers you gave us were for 49 people that were asked?
Yes. Yeah.
We asked everybody,
Yeah.
that's the only ones that voted.
Yeah, 49 responded.
Yeah.
Well, I
Mr.
think
Brown,
we-
you have a copy of what was quoted in your packet.
I've seen that.
Item 20 on its number. But if you look at those numbers, Qual Choice is 33% higher than where we're at today. Blue Cross is 63% higher, and United Health was 35% higher. And what we tried to do was cover and match the same deductibles, the same 80-20, so that we have apples to apples for everybody to look at.
Well, Mayor, I'm in agreement with Mr. Tripp.
All right. Any other discussion?
I do have semi-related, some not, but can somebody check and see, that may not be allowed, but Citicorp recently had a discussion because they have employees and health insurance. Are they able to sign under the city to municipal legal policy also?
Say that again, please.
Is Citicorp being an arm or corporation under the city, are they able to participate in the same?
They actually, if they wanted to, could be their own group.
Within the municipal league? Okay.
Yeah, there's
I
several
just wanna be sure.
municipal water. I'm pretty sure that has come up because there's a lot of municipal water companies that are groups.
I just want to be, if so, I'd like for them to be sure and know that that's possible, you know, because that's taxpayer dollars, and to spend it wisely as possible.
Yep. Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and to move this back to the Finance Committee. All in favor of that, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 20 is referred back to Finance, Mr. Chair.
This is for discussion and consideration of a partnership and lease. Sets 6-month renewable with ATU for the old fire station for the purpose of innovation. Hub makerspace. This is presented by Alderman Freddie Harris and Alderman Mark Tripp. I put that in form of motion to open up discussion for this, sir.
All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. Discussion?
I agree with them.
I see Arkansas Tech is here. Would one of you like to come and elaborate a little bit on what this means to you and what it is that you're talking about, just a partnership, not a financial agreement at this point? In case somebody thinks we have a financial thing right now, my understanding is we do not. So explain to the public what the purpose of this is, if you don't mind.
Tap it and see if it'll wake back up. If it.
All right,
There.
what this is.
What, would you, young man, would you state your name for the record, please?
Call me Young, I'll stay I'm Rick Massengall, I'm from Arkansas Tech, I'm Associate Vice President, Sponsored Programs, University Initiative.
You might need to go to that microphone over there. That one seems to run down every time.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis.
My name is Rick Massengall. I'm the Associate Vice President, Sponsored Programs, University Initiatives, Arkansas Tech University. What we're asking the city to do is to give us a short-term lease so that we can see if we can obtain some grants. The idea of this, I don't know if you're familiar with the movement that's going on in the country right now, but education is coming back to my generation, talking to the younger generation, and an opportunity. It's all about entrepreneurship. Russellville is, I mean, we, as our president likes to say, we live where everybody else wants to vacation. This would give us an opportunity to go into the fire station, obtain some grants, give us the chance for your kids, you, to come sit down with tech faculty, professionals in the field. It's a melting point. It's a place where we can come together and share innovative ideas. And maybe, I mean, I like to tell, nobody can make a chocolate pie like my grandma could. The fire station provides us with a commercial kitchen. Nobody else in the state has one where we could do that and market it. So we could find our next $1 million or $1 billion company in Russell by having a place just for people to come. We pay money to go to the gym to work out. This would be a place where we bring our minds to sit there and share ideas with each other and talk, and we'd have the professionals there to help. You know, ma'am, if you had the next idea, we'd have the professionals there to make sure you get your money and you're taken care of, and all the patents and stuff are taken care of. So that's what we're looking for, is this opportunity to spur the economy. I mean, I'm all about entrepreneurship, giving everybody a chance. Giving everybody a chance to come in and start a business. And if you, I mean, I'm from a family of farmers. Give me baling twine and I can make anything work. There's ways that we can do that and make a living, and maybe you're doing it the way nobody else can, and you can have a patent, and that would give us a chance. Your kids or your grandkids right now are driving past us to go to Little Rock and go to Northwest Arkansas and go to Hot Springs to maker spaces there. We want to bring them to Russellville. We want to keep them home. Council, do you have any specific questions for me?
Mayor?
Mr. Brown.
Yes, sir. I have a question. This says 6 months here, and I don't even know how you get moved in 6 months. All right.
All right,
and get grants in 6 months. Why don't we have a year on that?
Well, we're taking what we can get. What we're looking for, Winthrop Rockefeller, the foundation up there, has some money. What we need is, since it's not a tech thing and it's not a city thing, we're looking at a partnership. 6 months would give us time to do the investigation to see if we do qualify for those grants and how would we need to structure it. Right now, we're just saying what if we had this. This would give us a binding opportunity to say, yes, we have it. That's why we wanted it renewable. I mean, I'd like to see it up and thriving, and I've been working on this for 3 years, and I've been working with the mayor. I mean, I can see downtown Russellville on any night, you know, with being a thriving community again, with music playing and places to eat and places just to come hang out. So the 6 month is just, I danced all around your answer. That's just the number we come up with to see if we could even spur the interest. I'm in charge of grants at Arkansas Tech and writing them, and we feel like that would at least let them come back and tell us, yes, you're going to qualify, but we need you to have this type of partnership. This way we can represent it as a joint effort.
And after 6 months, you would come back and then we would look at a further plan.
Yes.
I like it.
It's just unusual to do 6 months.
It's just a good one.
Well, if time is necessary, we can always renew for another 6 months.
Yes.
We'll-
I mean,
we'll
if you want to go 99 years tonight, I'm good with that. I mean, no, 6 months, that just seemed to be the amount we felt like, talking to Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation and stuff, that we could get a guide, get an idea if the partnership is laid out properly and how we could work it. And there is a organization across the country of cities and universities working together on stuff like this, and I'm working on getting that information together so that when in 6 months, we'll be ready to present you and show you a working model that's already in existence.
Mr. Westcott, did you have a thought you wanted to express?
Yes, at this point tonight, this is simply discussion. Is that right? Is that correct?
Well, I think they would like for us to move forward with sort of a commitment to say that we're interested in a 6-month
Okay.
partnership to make sure that they want to do this.
I am interested, and I do agree with this concept. Wisdom would dictate that we who hold the purse strings would be given a clear understanding up front, ahead of time, of what would be expected expenses for renovating that building before we go forward too much with this. I am in favor, but we need to know some numbers ahead of time before we commit to anything.
It's a two-step process at this point. There won't be any expense or anything.
This is just pretty much establishing a location and a partnership with a partner to pursue this. And then if you get the grants and stuff, then we could come back and set monies and amounts and et cetera, right?
Yes, at that time, we'll come back with a memorandum of understanding that clearly outlines all of that. Again, the question come up, about renovation. I've been to Drexel, I've been to Xavier, all of the big universities. They're just open spaces like that with a table out in the middle. It's not what's in it, it's the people that we bring in and the power of the mind that we start generating. And
I'd
then we
like to
build from
approve
there.
this tonight, Mayor.
The purpose of this is to give them an intent
Yeah.
for the council to say, we're going to allocate this space for this purpose for at least this amount of time, and it allows Dr. Massengale, the other people involved, to start working, crossing T's, dotting I's, and hopefully bringing it all together so that within 6 months, they're going to be back and say, this is the big plan for this. This is just the first step in that process.
It secures that location which is sitting empty right now.
Can we approve
That's
this
correct.
tonight, Mayor?
I believe that's the motion.
I'll
Yeah.
vote for it.
All right, any other discussion?
I make a motion we approve. He made a motion for
Yeah.
discussion. I would like to amend that for a motion for approval.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'll
now
second.
we're going to need a second.
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Wiley. Any other discussion?
So it's a motion
To-
of intent.
The motion is,
For us that we intend.
We
to-
partner,
Yes.
we partner with them
Yeah.
to allocate this space for at least 6 months for this
Right.
purpose.
yeah,
And obligate the building for that purpose
Yeah.
for 6 months.
that's correct. Any other? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 21 is approved.
Good idea. I like that one.
Okay, item number 22.
I like that.
Resolution for mayor and city clerk treasurer to execute any necessary documents related to the purchase of property for city corp. 62nd Butler Lane.
Okay.
Is this for adding to existing sewer utilities?
Let's let Mr. Bartlett explain this one. No offense, Mr. Childers, but you did the last one.
Mayor, council, there's a 16-inch water main that runs underneath this residence, and the house is older, and the people have moved out of it. She's trying to get rid of the property. She says she doesn't need 2 properties. She approached us. We got an appraisal on the property. Realizing that the house has no value to us, as a matter of fact, it's kind of a liability to us. We sought pricing to get the house demolished. And she agreed to take the difference in the appraisal value and what it would cost to tear the house down. Pardon me. And so we're asking for approval tonight to purchase that property.
You got a number?
Their money.
Or their money.
Is it 4,000 even?
$4,900, $6.30.
That's coming out of their budget.
Yeah.
$4,906
Yeah.
to be paid by city court.
Okay, excellent.
You need a motion on that?
I believe we do.
Motion.
Second.
Got a motion, Mr. Wiley, a second, Ms. Harris. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Item 22 is approved. Thank you guys for staying around.
There's a late item that was added on here. It's number 23, a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to apply for and accept a 9010 grant from Arkansas Department of Aeronautics for repair of runway and taxiway services. Mayor, I'm making a motion to the council to accept that, and we've discussed it before, so.
Okay. All right, council, you heard the committee's motion. I believe that accept should be accept.
Yeah.
It kind of makes a difference in the way you think about it. So it's to accept the grant. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Westcott.
How much is that going to cost us? Everything said and done.
Mr. Frazier, come up, and I'm going to let you do it because I think I remember everything we discussed, but you've waited patiently, so let's give you some time.
Okay. This grant is for $152,991. It's a 90-10 matching grant. We've already been approved for the grant. So all we need to do is accept the resolution, then we'll do the appropriate. We'll put the project out for bid and do the appropriation next month.
So the total number of $152,991 after the grant will equal out to us paying what?
Well, we'll pay the whole amount. The state share will be $137,000. So we'll actually pay a little over $15,000 for the work.
Okay. I'm just asking this for the sake of the audience.
Yes, sir.
Who
Yes, sir.
may not be familiar with the 90-10 number.
Right, right, yes,
90
sir.
being reimbursed, 10% being on us.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 23 is approved, Mr. Chair.
That's the end of the finance.
All right, that brings us to new business. Item 1, the CMGC, as we discussed earlier, contracts should be ready in the next day or two. What do we need to do, Mr. Smith? Motion to, we okay with tabling that until
Table
those
this to a
contracts?
special called meeting?
Yeah, after the contracts are available. Okay, so Mr. Tripp made the motion to table until the contracts are prepared, and we'll do a special called. Seconded by Mr. Westcott. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, that brings us to item 2. We're considering an ordinance amending the zoning code for the city of Russellville, Arkansas. Ordinance 1966. You should have all the documentation in your packet. I think there was some confusion earlier in the week about what this does and does not apply to. We would need a motion of some kind.
Motion to suspend the reading, dispense with the reading requirement, suspend the rules, and read by title only.
Which one is this supposed to apply to? Because item 4 has 2 others that are amended.
Let's give us a minute to clarify what we're doing here. I remember the discussion the other night. It does not include the short-term rental because they're doing a special meeting on that Monday night, I believe. Does that sound right? So,
Short-term rental boarding houses was.
And my motion is for the first of 3 readings.
okay, thank you.
So it's either going to be the special use permit, or non-conforming provisions. So,
Special use
think-
permit is 4.
And also, they're together. This
So I don't know what what we were asking for in 2.
Well, I don't know what we're asking for tonight. I've read them and I'm confused. The headings were different from what the body of the ordinance said.
It is confusing. There are some minor changes that this pertains to, but the whole thing is confusing.
So can we table this one too?
If you make that motion.
Well,
Until you get a
I understood
completed
it,
ordinance here.
I'll make a motion, I'll second it. I'll make a motion to table it.
I just think there was a duplication.
These
in
are
the
just
agenda.
changing.
So I think you can address the 2 items in 4 now, or you can wait till item 4 to address them. But I don't think there's an ordinance that corresponds to 2.
Okay.
That's different from what's in 4.
Would you consider withdrawing your motion and motion to table, just
Sure.
in case there is something we need to be
In
doing?
fact, I'll
here?
change my motion. to a
Everything
motion
I've
to
seen
table.
transferred this week has been about the stuff in item 4. So now,
Motion to
say your
table.
motion again.
Motion to table.
Motion to table,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That cleans that up. Item 3 is a consideration of a resolution in a public hearing for vacating the east half of a 12-foot alley.
Motion.
Is this
It's resolution.
This is for next month. Yeah.
I think
All
that's
it
good.
is a resolution.
All right, so what we're working on here is setting the public hearing for next month's regular meeting. Okay,
Okay, second.
so we had a motion from who?
Me.
Mr. Wiley, second, Mr. Westcott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 4, now. Consideration of amending the Russellville zoning code. This does not say resolution, however, so,
There's 2 ordinances, one for each of the 2 subjects.
Okay.
in Item 4.
all right, you've got ordinances. It just doesn't say so here, but keep that in mind if somebody wants to make a motion.
I'd like to table all of these until we get them figured out. Some are special permit uses, some
Yeah.
are small houses or rental terms, and
Yeah,
it's left me confused.
okay.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Harris and a second, Mr. Westcott. We'll just table item 4 until we get this all pressed out. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
I mean, this is just changing the way we do things. There is not a specific request tied to any of it, so.
Okay.
All right, all in favor of tabling item 4, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item 5. This is a resolution to accept a donation of land from Mid-South Real Estate Russellville.
Motion?
Second.
All right, so we got a motion from Ms. Harris and a second from Mr. Westcott. It's resolution, so any discussion?
Mayor, just for clarification for Mr. Smith to clarify, this is the acceptance of the donation of land, and it also authorizes the project to be bid out, correct? In the resolution, just so everybody knows?
Yes.
Yep. We accept this, and we're going to bid out the project. We're going to clean up that road. It's been a city street for 40 years and nobody knew it. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Aye.
All right. Thought we'd get that on the record for your behalf.
Thank you.
Motion to.
Mayor,
what-
before, just not to bring up any, but I believe the young lady that was here earlier was given some information that does not state anything about speaking or not speaking. And I would make a motion again to allow, I believe Reverend back there has information to speak for the 5-minute time allotment, because I think when in doubt, err on the side of caution and let a resident speak.
I was going to offer to stick around after the meeting with everybody that wants to talk about it. Pastor Tice, which way would you rather do it? Do you want to speak on the record, or would you rather we meet and discuss this and then?
Let it be on the record.
All right.
But Mayor, that's
Pastor
just-
Lee Tice, well,
just a
but we made a big deal. The whole thing was about procedure, okay? Mr. Tripp, are you making a motion to add a late agenda item?
Yes, sir, I am.
I need a second.
Second.
Which late agenda item are we referring to?
The late agenda item would be,
To let Reverend Tice speak.
let Reverend Tice
Speak
speak
on what?
about Ms. Young Franklin's concerns.
That has nothing to do with us.
That's correct. And so,
We don't have to comment, but we can listen.
all right. Everybody understand what we're talking about? Got a motion and a second to add a late agenda item. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
We better call the roll.
Mr. Tripp and
Mr.
Mr.
Tripp.
Harris.
Second, Ms. Harris.
Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr. Straight?
No.
Mr. Sims?
Yes.
Mr. Westcott?
No.
Mr. Wiley?
Yes.
Ms. Caruth?
Yes.
Would you repeat that into your microphone, please?
Yes.
Ms. Caruth's vote is yes.
5-3.
Okay. Pastor Tice? How are you?
How long do I have?
5 minutes. Wait. Before you get started, I don't think that microphone is working. Can we get you over
We
there?
don't have 30 minutes or an hour. for
We'll need you to, we'll
But
need you
but
to
I'll
put your
say
name on the
amen
record.
every once in a while.
Full name is Alton Lee Tyus. I'm the pastor at New Prospect Baptist Church here in the city. I am a resident of Conway, Arkansas. And when I've just kind of observed the proceedings here, one of the things that came to mind is that as a resident of Conway, and when I listened to all the things that you all had before you and that you made a decision on, as a citizen of Conway, I had no jurisdiction here in Russellville. But I'm here because I'm concerned about the people I serve. I serve the people at New Prospect. And what I heard from Ms. Young Franklin was really a cry out to be heard. And the response was very, very rigid in no, I don't want to hear you, largely because there's a jurisdictional concern. I understand that. I just gave you an example of it. But the key is this. I'm here in support of her concerns. I can't necessarily say I support the way it was done, but the root of the concerns are what I'm here for. And all she wants is somebody to hear her express those concerns going back to 2016 up to the point that wherever she came before Judge Bourne. The question becomes, why did she have to appear before Judge Bourne? Why did that even become an issue? And I challenge the council to look into that. Secondarily, the behaviors that I've heard about as it relates to this judge, even though there's no citywide jurisdiction, the behaviors that I've heard I've heard about that the entire 8+ years I've been here. And so I'm saying that if someone represented her and helped her present her case to the right people, someone such as one of you or more of you, then I believe it would be more effective. And then I think we can prevent the things that we saw tonight. Don't you agree?
I think you got a couple of minutes left, Pastor. You're setting a bad tone for pastors if you finish early. Is that all you got?
That's pretty much all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you. And I will still be happy to stick around and visit with anybody, Pastor.
This document does not address the procedures that you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I pulled it up on, I couldn't find, all I could find was those 2 pages.
We're working on it, but